everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Thursday. That means Shades of Bravo. And I'm going to talk today about Real Housewives of New Jersey, Real Housewives of OC. The premiere was last week. And of course, Below Deck Med, which normally I wouldn't cover, but I've been watching it. I got sucked in because it was a MILF Manor crossover with Jacob, the worst boy ever, just boring, and he was on Below Deck, so I had to do a crossover. So now I'm sucked in, and now I can't quit watching it. So I'm very happy I have Amy Phillips here today to discuss all these programs with me. My friend, my fellow podcast host, my sometime lover. It's Amy Phillips.
Hello, lover.
Hello.
darling. Hello, darling.
Great
to be back.
I'm excited because the last couple of weeks I've had people on to talk about Bravo, and they're not watching Below Deck Med, and you are.
I am. Of course I am. God, I love it. I love the water toys. God, don't mess up. Got to get them in there, Joe. Okay? Ian.
So we got to start with Below Deck Med. We're also going to dip into what you thought about OC last week, and then we'll just kind of do more of a overall coverage of Jersey, since that's front of mind.
Okay. A great menu you have laid before us. Much better than Jono's, although I'm surprised he hasn't gotten the he seems to be pulling it together enough for Captain Sandy, but I love that she's got a chef, on deck, just in case the next time he messes up just one more time, he's out of there.
I saw Jono, and I guess it was Ian. Was it Ian that was on Watch What Happens Live, but they were on those screens on the chairs. They weren't there live.
Oh, okay.
I didn't watch the whole episode. Once I saw it was those screens, I'm like, not interested. It's not COVID.
Screens, yeah.
So I guess Andy asked Jono, like, how'd you feel when you saw that she had somebody ready to go? He's like, well, that didn't make me feel great, because he didn't know that. He didn't know he was one chicken breast away from being fired.
Yeah, that's not going to feel good. But I mean, it really is a reality check. Like, he has just been getting away with it. But the other thing is, it's like, he is a self-trained chef.
Right.
Talk about a red flag. We were discussing this on my podcast, Drama Darling, that we think that this was definitely a very escalated and quick to shoot season because of the controversy of what happened on Below Deck Sailing Yacht. With Gary and the SA situation, and they completely shut down filming.
Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wait. So remind me about Gary, because I didn't watch, but I know what happened. There was
allegedly there was an SA incident on Below Deck Sailing Yacht with Gary and another crew member, I suppose. And that being said, they shut down the production entirely. So they didn't even resume filming again. So they shelved the season entirely. They did not go back to filming. And because that was supposed to be next in the queue, I think that Below Deck Med, it's my assumption that they picked up cameras and they got them onto the Mystique very quickly to fill the gap. And by doing so, that could explain why, they have a chef that has been self-trained, and they weren't able to get, the Mystique was in no condition to set sail, as we remember. So that could explain why that happened, but it's just a theory.
Very interesting. Well, I like Jono, and I love how he's just twerking in the kitchen. He's cooking, he's twerking, but really
great personality.
Great personality. What I really love is this whole Ellie and Bree situation. This has fascinated me to no end. And this last episode where Ian and Ellie were dancing, and he's just blah, 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 blah. And she's like, my bodysuit's working on the wrong person.
Right. I love that.
Now, do you think Bree has a mustache?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Really getting right there. I noticed that in this episode, and I thought it's a couple of things. It's like, she's obviously didn't wax the upper lip. She didn't do the microderming shaver, the old Caroline Manzo style thing that we're all doing these days.
Yes.
And then furthermore, she may not notice it on an everyday basis because she's probably not wearing foundation or a lot of makeup because she's, she's on deck, or she's Maybe she's not wearing it on the super yachts. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
she's
then when
busy.
you're under those lights and when you have foundation on, depending on the color, that's going to make it look darker.
Uh-huh. Well, I've noticed that the last couple things, and I don't know if she's just like they're like so busy and they get so little sleep that she just gets
Mhm.
up in the morning and throws her hair up and is like, I don't care. But I gotta tell you who doesn't mind it. It's eyebrows. It's eyebrows. He doesn't mind it.
Joe does not mind it one bit, I
I,
mean,
I think he's made his choice, don't
he's
you?
like eyebrows and mustache. We go together like two peas in a pod, like peanut butter and jelly, baby. Let's go.
That's gotta be hard. You think that you're on this yacht and this is your pool. This is it. But like, do you have to hook up with somebody? Can you just work for
Yeah.
3 months and not?
No, you must hook up with someone. Absolutely. You're young, you're vibrant, you're working hard, you need an outlet. It's, no, I'm kidding. No. But to make it interesting, yeah. I mean, these are like horny young people. They just like, they have to do something with themselves. I mean, they're under the sun, they are by the sea, and there's alcoholic beverages. Um,
Okay. All right. I
what
just
you
think,
call it? Yeah.
what about Gail? Gail is she's just
Woo.
she can't keep it in her pants. She said she's only been
Shame.
away from her boyfriend for like 2 weeks.
Oh my God, that is crazy too, because she's just like, their text messages back and forth to each other are not good. They're not showing for a promising relationship. So if you're like, I can't give you anymore. And then the next day you're like, I haven't heard from you. I'm thinking, Gail, you got to make a decision,
Yeah.
either let this guy go and just say, I'm done with it. Or, I don't know. He kind of seems like an asshole to me.
We know nothing about this guy other than she met him on her last charter and decided it was her boyfriend, and now she's on this charter and has gotten. Listen, if that's
Yeah.
you're going to do that every charter, but don't be like I've never felt so strongly about somebody, and then like accept this guy with the bad haircut, Nathan. He's got a bad haircut. He's got a bad haircut. He's cute though. Bad haircut.
Very cute. You're right. The right haircut would really pop him up several notches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about Aisha and her? I don't know
Her
when you get
language that's inappropriate to her stews in the shuttles every crew night out when she talks about their lady parts being wet.
Aisha is, what does Deanna say? She's feral. She is.
Yeah,
It is incredible that she's able to be so professional in her job and so disgusting in her personal life.
Yeah, and I'm worried that like she actually let the two cross and she can't get away with saying those types of things to people that are under her at work. It is now giving cringe and it's just not appropriate. Like when she was a stew, say that stuff all day long, but now you're an authority. You can't be saying this stuff to like the people under you. I just think it's so cringe.
I mean, she loves to talk about pooping and farting
Right.
and
That's
sex.
fine.
No, it's not. It's disgusting. I don't want to hear that.
It's disgusting, but I'm saying like that doesn't cross the line for me as if you're my, if you're above me, got more
Mhm.
stripes than me. But the second you're talking about, my sexuality and what's going on, it's
Mhm.
just weird.
Yeah, it's a lot of lines crossed on the boat,
Mhm.
and I would not thrive in that scenario at all. I would not thrive. I would not be like, "Yes, I'm gonna go out and get drunk and maybe hook up and
Yeah.
then have to see this person the next day, and then they might like my friend that wore the bodysuit." Like,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to handle it
I
anymore.
would thrive in my younger years. I'd
Mm.
probably jump in, but I would like to think I'd be smarter about it, but God knows, who knows? Back then, no one, I can't say, but I would probably have a blast. I mean, it does look like fun if I were younger.
I don't even think if I was younger, I think my feelings would be hurt on a daily basis. You know what I mean? And I
Oh,
would
I'm not
just be
saying I'd be
too.
crying myself to sleep, mopping floors, crying. I'm not saying I wouldn't be doing that. I'm just saying I would jump in.
And what about Bree this week and the laundry? Do you think Ellie sabotaged Bree and put Captain Sandy's shirt somewhere else so Bree would get in trouble?
That would be amazing. I wish I thought of that because that would make it way more interesting. But the fact that she has failed so many times with laundry shows that her track record is terrible. And yeah, she's misplacing stuff every which way. And the clothes like have labels on them. And that's what's so
Right.
crazy about it.
It's like make a pile for each person, and that's their pile. Like, and
Yeah.
Captain Sandy's would be the most important.
Well, the fact that Captain comes down and she's like, yeah, where are my clothes? All right. I'm about to get mad. I'm about to get pissed. It's a good thing you didn't lose my white capris. Or maybe that's actually what set her off, is that maybe the white capris are what is missing. And that's what really drove her, over the edge. But you don't want to get Captain Sandy mad because she will give you 3 chances. And it sounds like she gave her 3 and Bree's done.
Well, Bree having never completed a charter is also concerning.
Great, a great piece of information that we got in this episode.
Yeah.
Loved that Ellie dropped that info. It was Ellie, right?
But Bree has said it herself. When we first met Bree, she told us she had never completed a charter.
Oh, that's right. I just didn't know it was on. I didn't know it was because she was fired. I thought it was because she just left. But now the story is that she's created so much drama that she got fired.
Oh, see, I thought it was probably a mixture of both. Some she got fired, some she left on her own because she knew she was getting fired.
You might be right. You're quit.
or it's like she banged the wrong person and,
Right.
Well, I will tell you that when I was talking to Deanna about this, I was like, oh my God, this Aisha thing. And she was like, Amy Phillips does a great Aisha. So I was like, how am I going to get it?
I call her the water wolf, who she's definitely, she is the queen of the sea. Captain Sandy might be holding the trident, but Aisha really is something to behold. I do love her. And I love that she's got such an amazing sense of humor. And when she talked to Joe on that crew night out, and she's like, Joe, can you just take a break from the girls for one night?
What do you think it's like living with her? Like, because they just bought a home. She and that guy, they bought a home, so they're on land now, so that's good. Indoor plumbing.
I mean, something's telling me that she's still going outdoors, but that aside, I think she would be a blast. And I think that she's so full of charisma that everything is like, do you want a piece of toast? She would be hard to keep up with, but like with the right guy, amazing.
I think we're so used to her voice now.
Yeah.
But do you imagine that somebody that comes on this boat that really doesn't, like, maybe didn't watch it or didn't know, would they be like, what's up with her?
I know. I did love her conversation with Ellie and Bree, where they were trying to hash it out. And she was like, let's just get on the same page and talk to each other respectfully. And then Ellie was like, and also to, take it when you're spoken to, take it well. And she's like, but really just watch how you talk. And she's like, but also take it well. And she's like, no, just how you talk to people. I mean, them going back and forth was that Ellie was giving pushback, like, Ellie, you don't have a leg to stand on. Also, truly, she was getting called out for some of this stuff for her work this episode, which I was very surprised about.
I was glad that Aisha's like, just talk to people respectfully. And Ellie's like, but also if a superior tells you something, you do it. And Aisha's like, that's not what I'm saying.
Just actually how you talk to people.
Actually, just be nice. I can't wait, actually, until Aisha sees the footage of what Ellie being so mean to Bree. When Aisha was gone for 3 hours getting her thumb stitched up, and Ellie went power crazy.
Oh, you're so right. She really did that was mean. I mean, do you think that she broke the girl code with Bree?
Or do we think Bree broke the girl code with her?
I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah, because Ellie is saying you broke, but I mean, no.
Do you think so? Okay.
No, because neither one of them had hooked up with Joe. So if Ellie had hooked up with Joe and been like, I really like him, blah, 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 and then Bree hooked up with him, then absolutely that was girl code. But
Yeah, there you
they
go.
just both said he was cute. So it's
Right.
like whoever got there first.
Thank you. Because I
You
was
know?
even thinking that in the beginning, they both did not say when they were talking about him that
Yeah.
they even were going to go for it. In fact, they were like, oh, yeah, he's cute, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like they just kind of both pushed him away. So neither one of them claimed it. So I really did feel like Ellie went overboard. And I also thought it was an abuse of her power because
Yeah.
if anything, you shouldn't be the one that's like trying to pull rank over your stew over a guy. If anything, you should back off because you are the superior.
Right. Yes, I agree with all that. And poor
Mhm.
Ian, nobody likes him.
Well, that
Nobody
part,
wants to,
the part in
yeah.
that hair is really rogue.
His whole hair situation
That's yeah.
ain't good. And
No.
when he first came on the first episode or so, when he had a hat on, I was like, okay, all right, he's kind of cute, accent, cute. And then he took that hat off. I was like, oh no,
Yeah, keep that hat on.
the
By the way, did you
forehead.
notice my hat
I did. Girls call the shots
from our event?
from our
Hey,
event. I have
guess with 21 Seeds.
21
Yeah,
seeds. I have it in my kitchen right now.
yum. So do I.
Hashtag not an ad. Well, okay, so that's really all I want to discuss. I did enjoy
Okay.
Captain Sandy coming down and being like, let me tell you what's up. My shirt's missing, and I've asked for it twice. And I did like when they were showing Bree with Captain Sandy's laundry when she took it to her room, and I
Yeah.
was looking at what the laundry was. It was like some t-shirts and things. I'm like, oh, Captain Sandy's in there sleeping in a t-shirt.
Yeah, she is, Captain Sandy. By the way, I know you want to wrap it up, but what about those wildfires and then how that huge super yacht like double parked in front of the Mystique and Sandy's like, "We're going to go for it. We got storms, we got wind, we got fires. Let's get out of here." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Geez, this is crazy." I mean, it was kind of an epic ending for,
Yeah.
this episode. I thought this is going to get nuts. But
Yeah.
why park like that? Why would that yacht park like that?
Look how big it was. It was so big
Yeah.
and in their way. And she's like, we're just going to go for it. We're going to get as close to it as possible. You're
Yeah.
like, what?
We're going to teach it a lesson,
And then that whole anchor thing, and it was like
Oh, the
$40,000 to get the
anchor
anchor
thing.
back.
Shut up. I missed that. It was 40K.
Yeah, it said $40,000.
Out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was like, who's got to go get that
Oh
thing? And then how did they get it? Yeah,
my God.
that was interesting.
So I love that. I love watching the process. Clearly didn't notice that they put the numbers up on there, but when they brought that thing in a heap of chains looking like just trash,
Yeah,
I just was, and then feeding it back through. Yeah, it was really fascinating.
it was interesting. It was like, oh, these people actually do work on this boat.
Yeah.
Like,
And to
wow.
have an emergency team ready to go and fish out the anchor from down below that buoy. And I love that she referenced Jaws. I mean, that was like
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite part.
You're like, that's not what we want to hear. That's
Right.
not what we want to hear.
But it totally showed how much Captain Sandy, she fucking loves that movie. She's just like, God, Leah,
Yeah.
let's put on Jaws again. This is so romantic. Like she fucking eats that shit up. And it is an award-winning, unbelievable movie. So don't get me wrong about that. But
Well, Jaws is the reason I don't go in the ocean. So I will tell you also, did you okay, wait, Leah, the anchor, the thing. I did like how she called out Joe and she's like, he's got charisma, but he shouldn't be in charge.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
Nathan. I mean, Ian is really a very bad bosun, not
Yep.
keeping the captain informed when he makes someone a lead deckhand
Which was like the first episode he did that.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah. She was
We
like, well, that was a bad decision because he's worthless.
leaving the tender battery on. I mean, this whole thing with the windless, what a disaster. This boat is in shambles right now. And the fires and the storms, this is crazy.
This podcast is sponsored by Greenlight. When you're a parent, you'll have your fair share of big talks with your kids, and one of those big talks should involve money, and Greenlight can help with that. Greenlight is a debit card and a money app made for families. You can send your kids instant money transfers, get real-time notifications of their spending, manage their chores, and automate allowance. You can set up recurring or one-time chores. In our house, the way we did it, we set them up weekly, so they would get paid on the next Sunday for what they had done that week. It was really great because you could see their progress, If they were just totally slacking on a chore, then they could see that they didn't get their $5 that week or whatever it was. And your kids are building financial literacy and independence by learning to earn, save, and spend wisely. The Greenlight app also comes with an in-app financial literacy game called Level Up. You know, kids love a game on their phone that helps kids build money confidence through videos, bite-sized challenges, mini games, and more. Millions of parents and kids use Greenlight to learn how to make responsible financial choices. So stop putting off the money talk and start putting your kids on the right path. Sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/pinkshade. That's greenlight.com/pinkshade to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/pinkshade. I wanted to, I know I was going to tell you. So I'm sure you did not know this. So probably you didn't know this. Last episode when we had Trishelle from, Real World and Traders and all that. So she was on with somebody who I still don't know who the head
fashion
client
lady
was.
Yeah.
No, the fashion lady I know.
Oh, okay.
Marsha Doll.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Marsha Doll with the hair.
Yeah.
She has the Marsha Dolls is a modeling agency in Miami.
Oh, okay.
And she has been on Welcome to Plathville. She's Micah Plath's modeling agent.
Well, look at you.
And I saw her, I was like, Marsha Doll.
Oh my gosh, Mary Payne.
Mm-hmm.
I love connecting the dots. How fun is that?
It all comes back to TLC, the Learning Channel.
Yeah. And then you had mentioned too about one of the people from MILF Manor on the charter. So like you've had 2 crossovers this season alone.
Could you believe that? That guy, Jacob, that's supposed to be an influencer. Was he the most boring influencer you've ever? All they did was go, sick content, bro. That's all they said.
No idea. Like that no. I had no clue who he was from beginning to end. And he didn't pop off the screen. So
no. Sorry. I mean, Deanna's like, obviously he hired a PR firm who got him on both these shows. He's obviously his dad, who was on MILF Manor as well. It's very hot. Ashley. He was a retired professional rugby player, and then like a PE teacher currently. So I was like, did the retired rugby player make enough money that Jacob could be an influencer for his job? Interesting.
Maybe he comes from money.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Does Ashley, the former rugby player, the dad, come from money?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. Probably.
I got to take it to the Reddit. and find out. It's the only place you can find out anything, Amy.
I love taking things to the Reddit. Love it.
Now, we had the premiere of OC last week. So, overall thoughts.
Oh my gosh. It was a wildfire. I mean, to be, thrust into this season, straight off the heels of Shannon's DUI hit and run, obviously Johnny J, and Alexis, that whole drama and the falling out with Tamra. It's insane to me how this is already going down. The pulling of the table, the breaking of the fourth wall, the table dragging, and the scene of Alexis and Shannon was
so funny.
Amazing.
Let's get over here for our light. Yes.
I loved that. I loved it. I loved the ladies at the restaurant at the Balboa Club. Just straight up flat against the windows. Tamra just being like, oh, I love to meet everybody like this. And just meeting the new girl, Katie. They really hit on all cylinders for this premiere, and this season is going to be insane. Obviously, I'm extremely team Shannon. I do think she's at this point not taking accountability for her DUI. Clearly, she's dabbling in drinks. I think that's a huge mistake. It is like, I'm glad everyone's calling her out. Crazy how Tamra is slamming her. I mean, she is body slamming her. I mean, she's WWE body slamming Shannon right out of the gates in episode 1. I'm just like, were you ever friends with her for you to be saying these savage things? But Tamra prioritizes this show, and that's that. But, truth be told, Shannon should not be drinking at all. And I think later on, she finally gets the accountability that she needs and makes the changes that she needs to do. But not there yet. And I feel really bad about the Alexis, Johnny J, Tamra, Shannon love triangle. However, I will say that when Shannon was at the end and Alexis stormed off. She's like, "There's the door, Shannon, the door." And then Shannon's like, I just so you know, I'm glad you took him off of my fight. Thank you for taking John Jansen. I just thought if Alexis didn't do that to be full on what I believe, she would still be going on that John Jansen roller coaster. They would be in and out. Shannon would still be pining for him, but he solidified it for her. And now she can finally move on. Thank God, because he's such a dirtbag.
Do you think Alexis sat and practiced that line with her glam team? She was with like, with John,
everybody, with everybody. It was so rehearsed.
Rehearsed.
I couldn't believe, Mary Payne, how much it reminded me of a straight up soap opera.
Yeah. Yes. With the telenovela and the walking off and the there's the door, Shannon Bedore. I was like, there's not a door to be seen.
But she planned it.
She planned it all, but was like, shoot.
You're right. There
no door.
No door. Oh my God, you are so right. Why did I not see that? Like, she planned it. That was her line. That was the ending tag blow line. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she did not account for the fact that they would be outside.
She's like, there's the balcony, Shannon Bedore. Like, it doesn't flow. No. But also, as John Hill pointed out, Shannon Bedore and door is not a rhyme. It's just two words that are the same.
Thank you. Well, thank you, John Hill, for that. Yes. You're so right.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of this from Alexis, a lot of this. I'm going to come in hot. I'm going to show that I deserve to be back on the show. Like when she sat down with Emily and Heather at the restaurant and was like right away, like, I didn't like that you said that on that podcast. And she's like, what?
Jumped right in. Yeah.
She jumped right in to just be like, I didn't like how you said that about me. And then we see Emily going, yeah, he's a real doucher. Yeah, he's a real doucher. Yeah.
I love that Emily stuck to defending Shannon at that lunch, because the second that they were like willing to sit down with essentially the enemy of somebody who they considered their friend all these years, I thought, geez, you guys have a lot of nerve, But of course, they're doing it for the show, and I totally get that. But I was very glad that at least Emily stood up for Shannon in that. Whereas Heather was like, well, Alexis has had such a terrible year, and I'm just going to be that person to help her and be her friend and be there for her. And then for her to not have Shannon's back, that was tough to watch.
I didn't like it. And I did like how when Alexis was like, I mean, I don't know what you're basing this on, like with Shannon and John. And Emily goes, 3 years of hanging around them? Like, what do you mean? What am I basing it on? I've been friends with them for 3 years as a couple. Yes. What am I basing it on?
You get to know Johnny J, you'll just love him. And like, who do you think you're talking to?
Emily goes, I think I know him better than you at this point. Yeah. What are you talking about?
And Alexis and John would not be together had it not be for this show and the scandal that it would cause. They're both getting off on it. There's no way they would be together in the real world of outside of this. And they're both thirsty as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my prediction, sorry, one more thing, Mary Kay.
Yeah.
My prediction is that Alexis will discover eventually what a douchebag John Jansen is.
Yes.
She will break up with him, and Shannon and Alexis will become close because of it, over the fact that John Jansen is a douchebag. What do you think?
Okay. How long is it that, what's the length of time you think it's going to take for this to happen?
I mean, at least a year. So maybe even 2 years.
Enough to roll into another season, so then they can be friends. So then they can be friends in next season.
I think that it won't happen so we're in the middle of the season. I don't think that Alexis is going to see it right now when they're off season. They'll probably film again at the end of that. So, another season and a half to go before that happens.
Do we have proof of life of John Jansen's first wife? What's happening there? Like, does anybody know anything about this woman?
Killed her.
He killed
allegedly.
her. Oh. No, just kidding.
I'm kidding.
Just kidding.
You know what? You better take that out. Just kidding. I joke. It's a true crime crossover. We all watch it on Dateline. It's a joke.
I'm just wondering what she thinks of all this, right? I always wonder about the ex when somebody goes to television like this, they have a, it's like, say you're married to John Jansen, God forbid. Say you're married to him, and then he goes on to date this woman who's in Real Housewives of Orange County, and then he complains about her. She's terrible. The kids hate her. The kids come home and they're, Mom, God, we hate this woman that Dad's dating. So they finally break up. She has a very public situation, and then he starts dating another one. And you're like, oh my God, really?
Mm-hmm.
A worse one, if you will.
And the fact
Yeah.
that, and Shannon's like, he said I ruined his life and because I'm so public. And then here he is doing red carpets. He's back on the show. He'll probably be filming.
Yep.
Shame on shame.
What's it going to be like if there is some sort of gathering and Alexis brings Johnny J and then Shannon's got to be there? Like, what? That's going to be awful.
I know.
That's going to be awful.
I only just hope that this will make her stronger to know the mistakes that she's made in the past and to clean up her act and continue on this road of recovery, strength, and knowing who she is.
Do you have thoughts on if Heather Dubrow is going to eventually just be on both shows, Beverly Hills and OC, or just go? I predict that she's going to move over to Beverly Hills. We're going to have a move over to Beverly Hills.
I think that would be great. She clearly wants it.
She bought 2 of her 3 homes are in Beverly Hills.
2 of her 3 homes. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about like trying to really solidify the deal. Bravo's like, I don't think so. She's like, what if I buy an actual home and not a penthouse? So it looks like I actually live there. You know, I mean, I definitely think that it would be very interesting. I mean, she's certainly of the caliber of Beverly Hills. And that's really what we want. We want the money there.
Is she organic friends with any of those ladies? I mean, besides Sutton, but it doesn't seem like they're like close friends. Sutton would be rich level with Heather Dubrow. I think they would equal out as far
love that. That would be great.
If they could have a rich lady off.
She knows a rich lady off. I wonder if she knows Garcelle from acting. They probably have crossed paths that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible. And they would have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see Heather Dubrow being friends with Kyle too much, assuming Kyle's going to remain on our show. But I can't see Sutton and Heather Dubrow kind of trying to duke it out of like who's got the biggest horse, or who's got the most Rolls Royces. And then you got to get Dolores in New Jersey because she's got a couple in her driveway, a couple of Rolls.
What is that?
I don't know. Do you hop in your Rolls Royce to go to the Safeway to pick up your creamer for your coffee and your bananas? Like, is that what you're driving to go to the grocery?
I guess.
I mean, I'll
be parking way far away from that cart.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Just
what do you call
right
it?
into the side. The cart corral.
Thank you. I knew it started with a C. By the way,
yes.
Did you see what do you think about Jen and Ryan? And did you see the latest news that she did get I don't want to say a settlement, but she is getting some sort of, maybe it is a divorce settlement from her ex.
Okay. Jen and Ryan, he was always giving me the grifter vibe just from those jackets alone.
Yeah.
The jackets were the red flag. It was a red banner, a bath sheet, if you will, like the biggest. So everybody's like, she's so sweet. She's so sweet. I don't want anything terrible for her. I'm like, I don't think she's that sweet. I think she like left her husband who was working for her parents' business to go with this gym rat who's a total grifter. And she
dragged her kids along with it to another state.
And has cheated on her a lot. And she knows about it. And then she's just like, I guess it's fine. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand about not paying your rent for 1 month, much less like 3 or 4 or however long it was. And
$4,000.
24. Well, so what is that 2 months rent? Because what kind of house was it?
Yeah, I know. Probably. It's probably like $10,000 a month, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then she's
12 a month. There you go.
So with the first husband, what was the outcome there? What was said? That he gave her a lot of money or he didn't? Or
I think she did get a significant amount of money, like a good chunk. So I think she can pay her back rent now.
Does she still have to move in with Ryan since he's in a $16 million pickle with the FBI?
I mean, that is crazy. Like this season is going to be crazy because they stop shooting and then they pick up cameras when that happens. And
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when they pick the cameras back up.
I know.
I love it. I love it. Speaking of that, it sounds like that's what's going to happen on Jersey. It sounds like instead of the reunion, which we keep being told, like, you'll understand why we don't have a reunion. You'll understand why we don't have a reunion. When you see it, you'll understand why we don't have a reunion. No, we're never going to understand. And we push back against that narrative. So my understanding, and you can tell me if this is your understanding, this is just the rumors that I hear on the Reddit and the internet, is that they have them all going to rails in separate rooms and watching the finale and then watching why do they have to go to rails? Why can't they just film them in their homes?
Because Andy's not going to be there. And
so does it matter?
They want the groups to be together, like the two sides.
So it's not each person individual. I was like, how many rooms are in rails?
No, I think it's the two groups. That's my guess.
Groups. All right. Well, let's talk about the two groups. So we'll have, okay. First of all, where does Dolores go? She has to go in a room by herself.
Well, Dolores and Jen Fessler will probably move between the two groups.
Oh my gosh. Who?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's my guess.
I'll watch the first half with yous and I come watch the second half with yous. Is that what they're doing?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I'm going to watch with yous twos and then I'll come over with yous twos.
I'll be watching with these women and then later I'm going to be watching with these women.
We had a guy on this past season of 90 Day Love in Paradise, something with that. Yeah, that's the name of the show. There are so many, but I think it was Love in Paradise. We had a guy, he was one of those like serial sperm donors.
Oh, wow.
So he was one of those people that just went around the world spreading a seed to women that needed his sperm, had like 80 children in 10 countries or something crazy. He's disgusting. He's a disgusting human. All around disgusting. But anyway, he would say that all the time too. Instead of women, he would say woman. He said, because when I donate to these women, sometimes it's better if you do it in person, because sometimes when I'm donating to the woman, but he means women. And I was like, is he from New Jersey?
Yeah, that's a Jersey thing, I think. Well, the Danielle Staub thing, that's for sure. That's where we
heard it.
Yeah, that's where we heard it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're going to have this. Okay. Let's just talk about Jersey in general. Let's talk about this week's episode. So it is interesting. We opened up this episode and I love when they talk about when we were in New York, Yeah. Why don't they just say when we were at the reunion? I hate it.
I know they haven't gotten there yet. They have to still keep that little bit of wall up. To keep it,
but they're showing scenes for the reunion to show what we're talking about.
You're right. Why show?
They're showing the scenes of the fighting and stuff on the stage. So I guess that after everything went down, Dolores and Paulie went to dinner with Teresa and Louis, and that made Margaret mad because Margaret's like, Dolores, on the stage, like we told you what he did to my son. And, I think Dolores is just like, well, I mean, I don't know. They asked us to go. And like, also Louis probably asked us to pay for it. So, I'm hoping that Margaret and Dolores, their friendship stays intact.
Me too. I mean,
I love both of them.
I hope they can bounce back, but it's very clear that Margaret had to have said something about Dolores as well as not just Paulie, because I think Dolores is looking at her like, are you sure that's all you said?
Yeah.
Because Jackie really laid it on thick. And
Jackie should bring the receipts. I mean, Margaret did it to her. She should, if she's got it, she should show it.
Savage.
Listen, it was done to her. Do it right back. I don't know, but I agree. Why are you putting anything in writing? Don't put anything in writing. Oh, you're pretty good about not putting anything in writing. Doug Budin is very good about not putting anything in writing. I have a few friends. If you text them, they'll call you.
You're on to me.
Yeah, it was just like they don't want to write anything down.
Say it, forget it, write it, regret it. Just what your always says. So you got to remember that. Those are the words to live by. I wouldn't even think that Margaret would be messy enough to write it. That's why I think, I don't know, Jackie, I think she did say nasty things about Paul. I don't know if she said anything about Dolo, but it seems like she's copying to what she said about Paul. But I
But
hope they can
what
bounce
would
back.
you say? What would you say about Paulie other than he's not divorced? I mean, what are we saying about him? We don't know that he's done anything bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible that, I mean, I've said bad things about Polly too. Like, get divorced. What are you doing? Why
Right,
are you doing this?
right. Well,
It doesn't make sense.
we can all agree he needs to get divorced. There's all sorts of rumors and things like he and his wife are in some nefarious business, and that's
I
why they can't
know.
get divorced. And who
Yeah.
knows that that's again. Let's take it to the Reddit and find out the truth, or make the lie bigger, whichever you feel. Um, Dolores does say Margaret talks a lot of shit. And we get a lot of examples of that, which is pretty funny. She's like, but we all talk a lot of shit. And Margaret, she thinks Margaret's been a really good friend. And then Margaret goes, yeah, I'm going to have a conversation with Jackie once and for all. Like, once and for all. I got to tell you, that whole thing. And then Jen Aiden being on Watch What Happens Live and just being like, yeah, what I learned was don't talk to bloggers. I was like, that's what you learned, Jen Aiden?
Hmm.
Oh, Jen Aiden. Wow.
Not taking full accountability for
No.
anything. And it's so
Mm-mm.
messy. I mean, the whole season has been tainted by all of these things that
Yeah.
are coming up from God knows who and where. And it is so complicated.
But
They
aren't you
really,
watching it differently now that you know all this stuff about the bloggers and the leaks and aren't you
Mhm.
watching it differently?
Yeah. Are
Don't you
you?
feel like, yeah, because a few weeks ago we had Teresa took a call from Jen, and then she's on a call with Louie, and she's like, "Can you believe that Jen just told me this? It was in the news, blah blah blah." And so now I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, earlier that morning
Yeah.
they planted it so she could say it was in the news,
Mhm,
but I
mhm.
would have never known that."
You're so right.
Yeah.
Oh
Now
my
I'm watching it
God.
like, "Oh, okay. Somebody put that in the news. This
Yeah.
put that in the news. It was
Mhm.
Melissa's nose, old nose, put it in the news."
Mrs. Old Nose is going bonkers. But also
Yeah.
Teresa setting the stage to prepare us for what's going to come because obviously she knows something's going to come out or she's worried something's going to come out because she's like at her live podcast event she's like, yeah, I don't know, I just been thinking, I just if things been hard because got these court cases, yeah. And it's like, whoa, you have court cases, like what are you
Right.
talking about? So she's trying to get ahead of it by putting it out there
Is this the Louis court
before.
case with his ex-girlfriend, wife,
Yeah, I don't know.
fiance?
Maybe I'm not sure what court case she's referring to. Perhaps. Is
That's yeah, because
that what it is?
I was listening to Bravo Docket earlier
Mhm.
today, and they have that court case of Louis with the ex. It seems
Mhm.
very 50-50. It seems very much that woman was at fault and he was also at fault. It doesn't, and I'm not
Wow.
a Louis fan, but it doesn't seem at all that it's all something he did. It seems like
Yeah.
this woman was kind of like extorting money from him. Like, I will marry you if you give me $50,000. I will marry you if you build me a workspace in the back of your house. I'll marry you if you help my mom pay off her loan. A lot of that. They would break up and get back together. And when they got back together, she was always asking for money.
Hmm.
So fool me once, Louis. You shouldn't have continued to go back to her and gave her money. But I would listen to that episode to kind of get, and they say the same thing. They're like, we're not a fan of Louis, but this is definitely not all his fault here. This
Mhm.
seems like it's a lot of this other lady's fault too. The
Okay.
therapist lady. You guys know I'm always telling you about Tropical Smoothie Cafe. I love it. There's one right down the street. We go constantly. They've got these new summer mocktails, and I really, really love those. I love the mango berry Cosmo. I add some coconut to that. Oh, it's so good. But I want to tell you about some other stuff they have. They have a turkey bacon ranch sandwich that is delicious. For a kid's meal, they have like a turkey cheddar wrap. You can get some baked lays and a little cookie. My favorite on the kids menu is the little limeberry. That's if you just want a little smoothie. You don't want the whole thing. You guys, they have the acai bowls. They also have delicious breakfast. They have a Southwest wrap. They have an all-American breakfast wrap. And for smoothies, they have those green smoothies. So if you're into that, they have that. My son's favorite smoothie is the kiwi quencher. You guys, I'm doing this off the top of my head because we order there so much. Like I said, the little limeberry I like, but I do love these new mocktails. The mocktails are only for a limited time. They have a mojito, and like I said, they have the berry Cosmo. That's my favorite. And again, Don't sleep on the breakfast. Get it? Don't sleep on the breakfast. Really, the breakfast wraps are delish as well. So you guys go to Tropical Smoothie. Try out all these things. You don't just have to try the mocktails. You don't just have to try the bowls or the wraps. Try everything. Go 3-4 times a week. Find out what you like. See what your main order always is. We're again going with that berry Cosmo mocktail because it's a limited time. Again, the little lime berry, the kiwi quencher, the acai bowls, the breakfast. You guys, all of it. Tropical Smoothie. You're on Tropic time now. I don't know if that's how Bo Deedle comes into it. I don't know if that's when he hired Bo Deedle to investigate this woman. Like that's where we get murky. That's when you get somebody at a party looking at everybody at the party going, I got a file on all of you. And then you're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to go to dinner with you. What are you talking about? Like, that's gross.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, he's scary. So, okay, Danielle is talking to Nate, and she was like, I'm upset Teresa didn't take up for me and say, I know Danielle would not steal from a charity. Like, I wish that Teresa would have stood up for me more. Well, that won't happen.
Exactly. No way.
And now we're at the Envy fashion show, and I love how Jackie comes up, and Jackie doesn't remember that she said the thing to Marge about I'm 10 times smarter than you. She goes, I didn't say that. That doesn't even sound like something I would say. Like, roll the clip.
The fact that they're like, she's like, you say bad things about me all the time. And Margaret's like, you say bad things about me all the time. You insult me. And then the next thing you know, they're like, I don't do that. I don't do that. And then they roll a tape of them just both fully ripping each other to shreds.
Oh, it's so funny. She's like, I would never say that. I don't even talk like that. And then I love how Marge is like, where'd your dress come from? Did it come from Envy? Because we all got clothes from Envy.
The Envy fashion show, which is, by the way, like the new posh fashion show.
Totally.
The fact that Jen Aiden did call out that like these are not anyone's designs. This is not Melissa's design. So why are we having a fashion show is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Truly, it's, as we said on our podcast, my podcast, it's a lookbook for other designers. And when they're walking around this party going like, are you wearing Envy? I'm wearing Envy. It's like, it's not Envy. Okay. Can we get that straight? Meanwhile, are these designers who actually design these clothes sitting here going, hello? Like, this is not.
I don't think they care. Envy. They sold those dresses wholesale to Envy. They don't care. Allison Olivia is like, okay. I mean, like Nordstrom could have a fashion show and have all different,
But they would do it for charity. That's the difference. You know what I mean? There's no reason to have a fashion show like this, but it's very Jersey that they do.
Yes. Well, I mean, never forget on Atlanta, a fashion show with no fashions. How dreadful.
Every fashion show is such a disaster on the Housewives, and it's just awful. Awful. I love it.
Now, did you catch when Frank was talking about how he and Brittany were going to get engaged, but his dog sadly passed away, so they canceled their trip to Costa Rica?
With that woman. With those women. Costa Rica. That sounds like a superhero or a rapper. I mean, I'm into both of them.
When he kept saying, we were supposed to go to Costa Rica, but I had to change it because my dog died. I was like, is that what he said? And then he said it again. I was like, oh, Frank.
With his 11-carat lab manufactured diamond, because it clearly is not real.
12 carats. I love Dolores's light up purse, and I would like to have one.
Cute.
I would like to know where I could get one. Where can I get one?
I don't know.
It's cute. So then Jen is
you
going.
You can get it at Envy.
Maybe you could get it at Envy. I didn't even think of that. Jen is going around saying to people about the fight with Danielle, you called me, you didn't call me. I appreciate that you called me, but you didn't even call me. You should have called me. I was like, did you or did you not push someone at a party? Why are we calling you?
Yeah, right.
Right. And I guess we're trying to make Tiffany happen. There's several girls here that we're trying to make happen. Tiffany's one of them.
The name got by me, but sure.
I think there's a Tiffany and a Jessica. We're trying to make them happen.
Okay.
And that's when Jen is like, what is the concept of the show? Meanwhile, Jen is in like Chanel earrings, Chanel sweater, Chanel bow, Chanel. I mean, I was like, well, okay, we get it. We get where your loyalties lie, which I think half her jewelry is fake and her brother makes it. But that's just it's my opinion. It's my opinion.
Hashtag ad for her brother's jewelry store.
Hmm. So she says, it was interesting too that Melissa didn't have any male models, since it was rumored that when she hooked up was that male model 3 years ago, which I
Oh
didn't
my.
even
I didn't
clock
know.
that it was a model that
I
she,
didn't either.
yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. And I will say that at one point, Dolores does say, I'm very worried what's going to become of this friend group, which is what's going to become of this TV show if we can't pull it together.
Foreshadowing. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
That's
not
great.
going to come together, which is why we're not going to have a reunion.
Exactly. Exactly. So then at Namaste Bitches, the live show event at a cathedral, because she's trying to say, finding my peace, we see her co-host,
I'm not mad at God no more.
Melissa Feaster, who also is a point of contention. Lots and lots and lots of screenshots from Melissa
Mm-hmm.
Feaster, not to be confused with Melissa's old nose, whose name is really Gabriella.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Your name is required to be Gabriella, Melissa, Teresa. There's only 4 names, or
Daniela.
like
Yeah.
Joe, Gino, Paulie. That's
Yeah.
it. Frank. That's it. What did you think about Melissa Feaster and Teresa going, do you all want to hear me read from my diary?
I thought it was
She's
so
like
funny.
touching her like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And I loved it because we talked about this on my podcast that she had a ghostwriter for that diary, like that she didn't actually write it. And the reason why she cried is because it was the first time that she read it and was like, oh yeah, that's really sad. I do feel like that actually. And so
That's so true. She's like, English is my second language. I don't even know. So then we see Jen Aiden, Jackie, Jen Fessla, and Teresa talking. And then Jen Aiden, she's sort of doing what I call the Carol with Bethany, right? Like Bethany's not allowed to say it, so Carol Radziwill would say it, remember that?
Yes.
So Jen Aiden is saying, yeah, Teresa's really upset every time I talk to her. Her stomach is in knots. She's got all these court cases. She's got all this family stuff with Louise's ex. And so Jen is telling us this, and Teresa's like, yeah, it's been really rough. But it's interesting, right? Because it's like, oh, Jen, when we start talking, you say that every time you talk to me, I'm really upset. And then say court cases and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Good catch, yeah.
Dorinda is at this event. Did Dorinda go to Jersey, or was this event in New York? This book reading?
It's definitely not in New York.
No. How many people were at this plot event? I mean, 50?
That was a Jersey event. There's no way that was in New York. Envy couldn't afford a space in New York City to do that. There's no way.
Okay, but now we're talking about the church event for Namaste Bitches.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got it confused with the Envy fashion show.
But same premise.
Oh, okay. So the cathedral, definitely a Jersey event. Absolutely.
Okay.
Same thing with the budget.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, same thing. Didn't seem like a packed house is all I'm saying. Now, after the show, this is what we saw a lot of teasers of. The ladies go to the green room. When I first saw this, I was like, are they in a hotel? What's happening? Okay, so they're in the green room of the rectory of the church. I don't know.
Yeah.
They go to the green room, and of course, Daniel makes a joke because they're like, well, it's interesting you're having this in a church. And Danielle looks over at Jen and goes, it's amazing it did burn down without your ass in here.
Right to it.
Right to it. Because Danielle was like, she's no dummy. She's like, this is only my second season. I got to bring it. I got to keep it going. I got to keep it popping. So as she leaves, she can't contain it. She can't control herself. And she leans over to Janae and goes, you look like shit, by the way. Which was
incredible.
Terrible. Because by the way, she didn't look like shit. She just looked like what she normally looks like. She always looks pretty good.
Yeah, no, she looked great. Amazing that she could give two shits and that she wanted to let her just have it. And she didn't even give her an opportunity to respond. She walked out and shut the door, and Jen Aiden didn't know what hit her. And she was like, why didn't anybody stick up for me? And they're like, what did she say? She's like, she just did not know. And I mean, honestly, if she would have stayed in the room, I think Jen Aiden would have pushed her again.
Yeah, maybe. But Jen Aiden, now that you're saying it, this is the second time this episode where we've seen her go around like, why didn't you take up for me? Why didn't you take up for me? Why aren't you on my side? Why didn't you take up for me? Because she did it earlier at the other event. So now she's doing it this one. Yeah. So she's yelling at Teresa. saying, "You think I'm going to put up with that trash box? Like, you want me to make up with that trash box?" And Dolores from Patterson, former corrections officer, comes up and puts her hand on Jen Aiden and says, "Don't talk to her like that." I was
Yeah.
scared. I was scared.
I love that.
I
That
loved it too.
was amazing. I was like, now that's some good friendship right there. Especially because, Teresa doesn't owe Jen Aiden anything necessarily.
Well, she's the only one that's loyal to her, so she kind of does.
Jen is loyal to her because of the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so in many ways, it's to her advantage. If she's loyal to Teresa, Teresa will keep her there, and she has. So, I mean, I think Teresa would like to be loyal to Jen and show that loyalty back, but she knows that Danielle is a star and that Danielle is going to keep this show going.
Yeah.
And Willie clips Jen in personality and authenticity. And I think Teresa completely gets that. And that's why she can't be loyal to Jen, because she sees what a shooting star Danielle is. And also
what a horrible person Jen Aiden has become.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I do.
And she knows that she's in the wrong. I mean, Teresa knows that Jen is in the wrong, and it would be a bad look for her to take her side because she's the one who threw hands.
Yeah, she did it first. Now, it wasn't great that Danielle did it back, and I guess that we've heard at this finale, Danielle picks up like a glass pitcher and throws it. Now, I don't know. You're looking at me as if you do know.
I did not know that.
Okay.
And is that true?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Well,
that's what I heard.
When I spoke to my source,
okay,
I did not ask any follow-up questions. I think, for one, I knew they weren't going to tell me anything because they're not going to let the cat out of the bag. And for two, I almost don't even want to know, because the only thing I was told was that this person was in the room when the finale happened and they could not believe what was happening and their jaw dropped.
And they didn't tell you what that was.
Correct. And I did not ask.
Okay. I got to say, sometimes I really do appreciate more and more things not being spoiled.
Yeah.
Like this push and all that, I literally, if somewhere last year I heard about this, I completely forgot about it. So when it happened, I was shocked. I was. And so I think that's what we need in our reality TV. I don't need to always know what's going to happen, because watching that season 10 of Vanderpump Rules, knowing what was going to happen at the end, it did make you watch the whole show with a different lens. Just like I'm saying about, like, now that we know that Teresa and Jen Aiden are doing these stories to Melissa's old nose to be in the news so they can talk about them. Now I'm watching the whole show with a different lens.
Yes, I completely agree. It's a different game. The rules have changed. There's so much crossover with social media and the time that lapses in between the filming and then now when we're getting all the stuff. So it's very confusing.
How many more episodes do we have of this show? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
They usually go shorter with Jersey. So, I mean, we maybe will get 15 episodes, 16.
Yeah. And I don't know what episode number this was, because normally I write it down, but I was just so busy tippity-tapping on my notes to talk to you that I did not even write down the episode number.
I can look and see. Oh, no, I didn't write it down in my notes either. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing it's like 7.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever the number of the episode of Below Deck Med was, I was very surprised, because I went to look at it to watch it this morning, and I was like, wow, we're already there on Below Deck Med. Was it 22? Was it 11? Was it 4? I'm not sure. But
it was episode 7, actually.
Yeah. Doesn't that seem very far along?
It does. I completely agree with you.
We've only had 3 charters.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. We got Jacob the influencer.
Yeah.
We got, I don't know who the second one was. And now we had Marcia Dahl. That's it. That's all we got so far.
Yeah. It's impressive, actually.
Because the Marcia Dahl, they were crashing into the dock when we ended.
Crashing the dock. Get those fenders out. Yeah.
Yes. I do think I will say that I noticed this week that Captain Sandy's pants seem to be getting a little longer. They did seem to be more of a brushing the top of the ankle bone instead of
Ooh,
going below
well,
the kneecap.
perhaps because of the storms and the fires, she was like, I got to cover my ankles. Gotta put my serious pants on. Weather permitting, yeah.
You think whenever her clothes go into that laundry room that they're like whites only with bleach. Everything
Oh,
is
God,
so
yes.
white. So
Hang
white.
dry.
Hang dry. Be careful with those t-shirts. Oh my God, Amy, thank you so much for discussing Bravo with me. My favorite part
Love
of the
it.
week is talking to Bravo with my friends. It's great because I don't write a lot of detailed notes. I just get to chat and talk about theories and
Oh, nice.
things that may or may not happen. And I love that.
I
that
love
for
it
us.
too. I always love coming on, and thank you. And hello to all your wonderful, fabulous listeners.
Yeah. Everybody, you know that Amy Phillips has a great podcast. It's called Drama Darling. And it's on how many days a week and then how many days on Yield Patreon?
It's 2 days a week on the public, so you can listen to it anytime, wherever you get podcasts on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday over on patreon.com/drama darling.
And you have a video component or like a live component or something you do over there as well?
I have a video component. I always post the videos, and then I do go live on a private YouTube channel for the patrons. And we just had a book club the other night, a Bravo book club, where we did a live Zoom and we talked to the author.
Who was the author?
Danielle J. Lindemann. She's a sociologist. She wrote a book called True Story, What Reality TV Says About Us. She's been quoted and interviewed everywhere, from the New York Times, the LA Times, to Vulture, to you name it. And I think she's been on some docuseries, where she'll give quotes about that. So
I'm writing this down. Sounds like a book I
she's
should
great.
read. Or do I? Maybe I don't want to know what it says about me. Maybe I don't.
You know what? That's what a lot of my patrons said. But at the end of the day, it's a good, her aspect, her angle and perspective is essentially like, it is a good thing. It shows us where we are as a culture. It, the milestones and where we are as far as like reality television is 100% one of the only, zeitgeists where you can have diversity, talk about race, hierarchy, class, culture, you name it. It all filters down in there, and it shows us where we are in society, starting from the real world, when that was the first time the world got to see like a gay person live their life as a real person and not just be labeled gay.
Right.
And then the journey that we've taken from there to like Honey Boo Boo, to how President Trump was on The Apprentice, to how he is the president. There are a lot of points and theories that she points out. And it's also from a sociological standpoint. So the book is very like, it stays within those lines. But when I talked to her and we were talking about today's issues, like I was having her speak about like the Jersey reunion and about Summer House and blah, blah, blah. And those are her personal views. So she knows how to distinguish, like she goes from a sociologist's perspective, but then also a whole different way to look at it is from her perspective in terms of her own opinions. Completely different,
Did she have a favorite reality show?
That's a good question. I think I
what did she say that she watched?
Well, The Real World was a huge show for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
I would say that. Yeah.
I feel like Norm, Becky, Julie, they're my friends. Real World, season 1, New York. They're my age. That was all those people were my age going to a big city, where I was coming from a small town to a big city. And same with Friends. Friends started out at the same time, same idea, like Friends in a city. And I had come from a small town to a city. So that's why I really always resonated with Friends and the first season of The Real World, because I was like, oh, this is exactly me. I'm that exact age.
Wow. And you were living that life. How relatable.
I was living that life. Yeah. I was Julie from Alabama in New York City, except for I was Mary Payne from Mississippi and DC.
Oh, that's cool, Mary Payne.
I know. I tried to interview her once, but
I love that.
No. It's okay. Okay. Well, let's don't end it on a bummer. Tell everybody where they can find you on the social media and all the places.
At Meet Amy Phillips on Instagram and TikTok. I'm Real Amy Phillips.
You guys, go on over to the TikTok and the Instagram and watch some of Amy's impressions because
Yeah, do it, you guys. I got
it's
some
really fun.
content. I appreciate it.
It's really great. It's really great. Amy's very, very funny. And next time you do a live show, please let me know and I'll come to a city near you.
Oh, I'll be hitting you up, of course.
I love it. Okay, everybody, say bye to Amy. Bye, Amy.
Bye.
Bye. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.